Thank you. I have to. Yes, that's enough. I have to disagree with Robert Singer. He said that Israel is not perfect. Israel is perfect. Certainly, if you compare it to what goes on inside the building behind me, and in many of the capital cities around Europe and the world, Israel is certainly more than perfect. I've just been sitting in the United Nations Human Rights Council listening to countries lining up, one after the other, to condemn the state of Israel for its war crimes. These are countries, beacons of human rights, like Iran, like Pakistan, like Cuba, like Venezuela, all people who exercise the greatest standards, the highest standards in human rights in their own countries. And Iran, I'm assured, never executes more gays or more dissidents than it absolutely has to. Ladies and gentlemen, what we've heard today is lies. We had the United Nations Independent Commission report presented to the United Nations Human Rights Council. And that report is characterized by anti-Semitism, by lies, by distortions, by falsehoods, and by deliberate branding of the one and only liberal democracy in the Middle East as an apartheid and a terrorist state. It is a shame, it's a disgrace. I said before when I was here last time in 2009, debating the Goldstone Commission, I made it clear that the Israeli Defense Force had taken greater steps than any country, than any army in the history of warfare to protect the lives of civilians in a combat zone. I say exactly the same thing again today, except more so. What I said then was proven. Judge Goldstone retracted his allegations against Israel carrying out war crimes and crimes against humanity. He was forced to retract what he said. What I say today, though, in addition to that, is that Hamas has taken greater steps than any other terrorist group in the history of warfare to bring suffering, death and destruction onto its own civilian population. And that's what this is all about, ladies and gentlemen. That's what this is all about. This is all about Hamas's strategy of sacrificing its own people, of firing at Israel and attacking Israel from within the heart of its civilian population, not in order to damage Israel, because Hamas knows very well that it cannot defeat or seriously damage Israel by military means. So what it tries to do, and it succeeds time and again, it lures Israel to counterattack. Israel has no choice. What country in the world would not counterattack if it had countless missiles fired at it? Everyone would. But Hamas's aim is not to damage Israel, it's to force Israel to kill Palestinian civilians. That's its strategy. And its strategy is seen working in action today, because its strategy is to then exploit those deaths, the death of its own people that it has caused through propaganda, through manipulation of the media, to bring about unbearable political pressure on the state of Israel. And for example, the kind of debate, the kind of lies that are being beamed around the world from here today. This is Israel, this is Hamas's strategy in action. The organization behind me, the United Nations Human Rights Council, is a tool of Hamas's terrorism. That is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, this report is worse, it is more dangerous than the Goldstone report. Some people have said it's more balanced, but the danger is in that perception of balance. Yes, it says that Hamas may have committed war crimes, and yes, people will think, well, that's a fair comment, it's a criticism of Hamas. And they will also think, it also accuses Israel of that, so it must be fair in relation to Israel. We know Hamas commit war crimes. We know Hamas fire at Israeli civilians, dig tunnels with the intention of attacking and murdering and kidnapping and drugging Israeli civilians in their kibbutzes. We know that they do it from within their own population. We know they use UN schools. We know they use hospitals. We know they use protected buildings. We know they use houses. So we know they commit war crimes. Yes, they do. Hamas commit war crimes.